I'm going to encourage the boys, but that is a very early goal for us to concede. And it is a problem that we've conceded so early on. How's it going, everyone? My name is Stu and welcome to my FM24 save here with Deportivo La Coruña. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is part number 45. We are in season 6 of this save, and today we have a Champions League game against Inter Milan, who was our last game in the league phase of the Champions League. They're also the team we're playing in the playoffs, because of course they are. So we're playing the second leg of that one, as well as a league game against Racing Santander. And if you're excited to see how we get on today, how we do in the league, and also whether we can get through to the proper knockouts of the Champions League, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me, and don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. You'll put a big smile on this face right here. What's not to love? So, if you haven't watched Save up until this point, welcome. Put your feet up. Hope you have a lovely time while you're here. Please stay around for other videos if you do enjoy. There's a playlist above if you do want to get caught up with the save. Right, so, since you were last with us, if you have been watching the save previously, I'm just going to adjust my light just there a little bit. We've continued to do really, really well. There's a hint of what I was on about when I said the only problem with the playoffs is we're going to be having extra games. Those extra games could end up costing us in the league. Now, it hasn't happened dramatically. As you can see, we've been on an incredible run. And last time you saw us was the Valencia game. We've been pretty good since then. But we did draw in the last game against Girona, which was after the Inter game. Incidentally, we battered into their place 5-1. We beat them 3-1 at our place, beat them 5-1. Now, this was helped by Lautaro Martinez getting sent off after we went a goal ahead. So you do have to take this result with a pinch of salt, but it also does mean Lautaro Martinez will not be playing in today's game. But Veloso, Hlajek, Maria, Salvador and Boedo all getting goals. Marcus Thuram did get one for them, so it's a 4-goal deficit that they have to try and overturn at our place. So that's the interesting thing. Also, Copa del Rey news, which will be in the next episode, Barcelona, because of course it is. It does mean that we've got a Barcelona Real Madrid sandwich coming up, which I'm really not looking forward to. That's going to be, in a word, hideous, but we're going to have to do it and just hope for the best. But today we're going to worry about Inter Milan, and this is the 11 that we're going to be trying to worry about them with. It is Karnasecki in goal, Martinez, Herculano, Vandenberg and Ilic in defence, Litskas and Bietic in the middle, with Maria, Veloso and Furic supporting Salvador up front. Veloso's actually been in pretty good form since we've turned him into the attacking midfielder. He has played the odd game here or there as a defensive midfielder, but in his 3 games he's played against Andorra, Sociedad and Inter, he's been sensational. Did play as a deep line playmaker against Girona. The problem is, because he was meant to be our backup defensive midfielder, he's currently doing double duty because he's currently in better form than both Stoichkos and Navarro, but we don't have anyone else to play in that position. Oscan can technically play there. Litskas obviously is the first choice. Bietic can technically play there, but the problem is whatever option we do, it leaves us short somewhere. So at the moment, Veloso is doing double duty. We've had injuries as well. Hlajek and Trilly both out with injuries. Hlajek is nearly back, but it's meant that we haven't had a backup striker for Salvador. The last game actually had Stoichkos playing as the striker, as a deep line forward, because we needed to give Salvador a break. He was on very heavy match loads. He's still on heavy match load, but at least he gave him a little bit of a break. But that's the 11. And let's see what we can do. Let's see whether we can get ourselves through to the knockout round. I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, it is a pretty heavy goal advantage that we have over our opponents at the moment. So I'd like to think that this is not necessarily a given, but I'd like to think that we've got a pretty good chance of this, because at the end of the day, it's quite a lead that we currently have, and we just need to make the most of it with the players that we've got. And again, biggest important thing in my eyes is that their biggest goal threat, at least on paper, Lautaro Martinez, cannot play today due to suspension. That to me is a huge, huge result. But Inter will be the team that are going to be looking to kind of break us down and start to really kind of get at us at the early goings, and we're going to have that mental thing of, we're already 4 goals up, what's the problem? But it can change really quickly. They're playing Thuram as the striker, and he scored straight away. Right, I don't know what to do here, because what I want to say is to focus or to calm down. I'm going to encourage the boys, but that is a very early goal for us to concede. And it is a problem that we've conceded so early on, because they need to get 4 goals, and the earlier they score the first, the better it is for them. However, match momentum-wise, we are starting to come back into it. A loss in this game isn't the end of the world. It's just, as long as we don't lose by 4 goals. I would quite like us to get some shots on target, though, at some point. Right, we have a free kick here. Chris Furic over it, who's back in the team at the moment, mainly because of the injury to Hlajek. goes for the goal, and Lunin makes the save. I've got history with Lunin in different FMs. FM23, he was a goalkeeper for Southampton, and he was awful. I'd quite like him to be awful again today, if that's okay. Right, whipped in, looking for the head of Vandenberg, cannot find him. It's headed out by Fratesi, and the highlight does end. Again, we went ahead in the last game, and then they had a man sent off. So we played the majority of the game against them in the last one with 10 men. Away from home as well. The only thing is that we're at home today, so I'd like to think that gives us a bit of an advantage, but so far it looks like it has been all Inter. But then the game last time did start this way as well. It was all them, and then we got the goal, and it kind of just ended things, although they are playing around us at the moment. And this, looking like it was going to be 2-0 there. Right, I'm going to demand more from the boys because we need to be working a bit harder here. I mean, it's, again, a bit of a sandwich here. They've started the half well. They're ending the half well. We, in the middle, have a bit of a period. It's going to look like it's going to be 1-0 to them at half-time. It's still 5-2 overall to us. I'm not happy with the performance. I think the attacking players need to start pulling their finger out. But yet, it's just had an awful game, apparently. I'm really not happy with the fact that he's on a 6.4. And I think we'll be making a change with that one. Herculano as well. Bit concerned with Herculano because he has these periods where he's good and then he has periods where he's so bad. Right, Bietic is going to come off Arscan. I'm not going to take the risk with him on the yellow card. I'm not going to take the risk that what happened to us in the last game happens to them. I'm not going to take the risk that we end up going down to 10 men and have to defend it. I'm going to keep everything else as it is at the moment. I am actually going to step up and go attacking. I just want to put a bit of pressure on them and see whether we can get things going a little bit. We've got a lot of instructions on players, but they're all instructions you would kind of expect. Although I don't know why he's got instructions on when he's kind of been told not to. So we'll take those off. I mean, Thuram has had a decent game. Their right back has had a decent game as well. Apparently we never press him. I'm tempted to go in hard on him, to be honest with you. Try and make his life a little bit more difficult. And we should be pressing Stanisic as well. Who, in my eyes, Stanisic, I'm sure he's meant to be a centre-back. He is, but he's also a decent full-back, apparently. So, okay. Well, we'll press him as well, see what we can do. I will just go into the second half. I'm going to actually press Lunin, because Lunin, if he's the same in this FM as in other ones, he's got a mistake in him, and we need to try and force it. Right. Fire the boys up. Again, the aim is to get through, but momentum-wise, it would just help us if we can do it with a win. I'd rather not lose this game. Right, it's another corner here. Furic whipping it in. Looking for the head of Vandenberg. Again, cannot find it. Ozcan. I don't know if he heads it down or it was one of the Inter players, but Maria has ended up on the ball. Ramon Maria gets it to Furic, to Vandenberg. Litzkas, Maria. Ball out wide to Herculano, of all people. Herculano out wide, whipping it in. Looking for the head of Salvador, and Salvador hits the crossbar. Probably the closest we've come so far. Thuram with a big heavy touch puts it out of play, and we get a throw in. I don't know whether we'll see the throw in. No, we do not. But we have started this half a lot better. The longer the game goes, the more work Inter have to do. And if we get a goal, it's pretty much game over. All right, I'm going to fire the boys up. And we are going to start making some changes in a minute. It's a bit disappointing that Salvador's had such a poor game. But it is what it is. Right, I think I'm going to take the players off around Salvador and leave him on. Furic has had not necessarily the best of games. I'm going to bring Boedo on. And we'll bring on Yeka on the other side as well, because Maria hasn't exactly had the best of games. I'm going to keep Veloso on just for the moment. And we'll go with that for now. And we'll see what we can do. Yeah, we'll go with that. Right. We're going to demand more when the opportunity comes. Then we've got our final couple of changes coming in a moment. I think we might be losing this game, but I think we've seen out the result. We'll bring on Stoikers, and I'm going to bring Kjaergaard on for Salvador. Salvador's had a really poor game. Again, bear in mind with Salvador, he's playing every game at the moment because there's not a better option. Because again, Kjaergaard has only just come back to full fitness. So a little bit of credit where it's due to him. He is pulling like triple duty at the moment. Litzkas is shattered. But I can't take him off because, again, this is the problem with the deep line playmaker role. It's Veloso's job. So I can't do that. And actually, that's all 5 changes. And all of the changes we've made have actually been attacking changes. Ilic was not performing well. He's actually got a bit better in the game. Right, let's go with them. We'll fire the boys up one more time. But I think we might be losing this game as it stands. I clicked on Lunin. I didn't want to do that. We might be losing this game as it stands. But we're going to win the tie overall because I don't think there's enough time for them to get the 3 more goals that they need. Right, Boedo does really well to defend there. Really well indeed. And Stoichers intercepts, and now we have a chance to maybe get a goal. Kjaergaard, super heavy touch. Again, he's not match fit. He's not that kind of striker either. He's kind of get the ball onto his head. So it doesn't really suit the way that we play. But we do go with wing play sometimes without meaning to. And Kjaergaard is good when it comes to that, but he's not necessarily going to be that good when it comes to anything. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed there. He's lost the header. The whole point that I've signed Kjaergaard is his height and his aerial ability. And I've just watched him lose a header. It's literally the whole point we've signed him. And he hasn't... Oh, he's won a header there, but he's headed it to Bastoni. I mean, that's not very helpful. It's not very helpful at all. Actually, his heading's only 13. It's more of his height that I've signed him for. Anyway, we do lose the game. However, that's not the headline. The headline is... we're through to the next round. I'm not overly happy that we've lost against Inter. However, we've come into it with a 5-1 lead, rather. It's very, very difficult for them to kind of argue anything, even though they've won that tie. I think we have to be very proud of the fact that we did such a good job in the first leg and we took advantage of the issue that they had. I think we have to be very proud of that. I am not very proud of Salvador because he was anonymous, but then I feel like I do have to bear in mind it was probably service as well, because all of the attacking players behind him had poor games as well. So it is what it is. Right, we've got a home game against Racing Santander coming up. We'll come back for that one, and then we'll get ourselves prepped for the next round of the Champions League, as well as the next round of the Copa del Rey, which will all be in the next episode. But before that, we'll go to Santander, and hopefully we'll continue doing well in the league, which at the moment, league table looks like that. We've currently got a 3-point gap at the top, which is lovely. And we've still got the best... In fact, have we got the best goal difference in the league? We still have the best goal difference in the league. We're not the best goals for anymore. Real Madrid have kind of topped us on that. But our defence is still the best defence in the league. So let's see whether we can keep that up in a game against bottom of the table Racing Santander. The fact they're bottom of the table makes me feel a little bit better. Right, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Back for the game against bottom of the league Racing Santander at home, and this is the 11 that we're going to be using to hopefully get 3 points towards our total in the league at the moment, obviously. It is Carnesecchi in goal. It's Martinez, Herculano, Ribal and Miranda in defence. Veloso and Alscan in the middle, with Furic, Navarro and Boedo supporting Salvador up front. We have rotated relatively heavily. Obviously, Martinez is still in there because of a lack of a better right-back option. I could play Vandenberg, but he's also on a heavy match load. I don't feel like there's a benefit there because he'll be playing out of position. We have brought Ribal in and Miranda as well. Veloso, again, because of the defensive midfield, I'm not going to bore you over the details of it, but because of that, we are having to move him to give Litzkas a break. Ozcan's come in as well. Furic, did he start last game? I think he did, but he's moved over to the right side where they can come in. Navarro has come in as well. And Hlojek is fit again, but not fit enough, and neither is Kjaergaard, to actually take on the mantle of striker off of Salvador. So for a lack of an option, Salvador will start. I could start with Stoichers, but Stoichers is not a natural striker, we know that, so it's just not worth the risk on that one. But we will go into the game, and we'll just see whether we can, with the rotated side, be able to get points off Santander. We should have more than enough in the Arsenal that we have to do that. We've still got some first team players on there, and again, some of the players we moved around are first team players in different positions as well. Again, we're playing Veloso still, Furic is still in there, Martinez is still in there, Herculano, Carnesecchi and Salvador. That should be more than enough. They've lost 4 of the last 5 Santander, so we should be able to absolutely batter them today, hopefully, off the back of the loss against Inter that still got us through. I haven't actually had a look to see whether we've been drawn against our next opponents in the Champions League yet. I will look after this game and we'll see whether we can find out what will happen. Hopefully it will come around at the same time as the Copa del Rey semi-final. We can tie those into one episode in a nice little bow. That'd be lovely. Match momentum-wise, we have almost completely dominated them. They've had a little bit of a period there, but Boedo just switched off there completely and let them get on the ball. That's the kind of thing that is going to concern me if we're going to do that in this game. Because again, mentally, we know we're a better team than them. Our Salvador just doesn't care. Oh, it's so close there. That would have been brilliant. If you could just nick the ball off of them and just scored, that would have been a thing of absolute beauty. But unfortunately, it's not something that we're going to get to see in this moment. Right, Martinez. over to Herculano, into Ozcan now, over to Miranda. Miranda's going to go for a worldie. No, gets to Buedo, and Buedo goes for the shot, and it ends up either being saved or deflected. Either way, we have got a corner, which are pretty useless for us because we have been fairly useless at them in recent times. Right, Miranda goes a short corner to Navarro now. Cuts inside Navarro, gets it into Buedo, and we've done one of them before, and Buedo's been the beneficiary party in it, but we do win another corner. We're just going to go with a normal long corner here. Again, fairly useless to us. Salvador flicks it on, looking for Ozcan. That was, again, another nice little set-piece routine that didn't really pay off, but it was good to see that we're putting some effort in there. Martinez to Ozcan. Going backwards here. I'd quite like us to go forwards. Right, Veloso, Martinez, out wide to Herculano. Herculano, he's not a right back, and the highlight ends just to prove the point. We've been really good so far in this game, but we're just missing the cutting edge so far. But we might not need it because we might have just won a penalty. Ribel ends up getting fouled by Fernandez, I'm assuming, because he's highlighted. Bit of argy-bargy going on around there. The referee doesn't care. He's listening to the little man in his ear. He does not care about the argy-bargy going on around him. And a penalty has been won. Excellent. And I'm going to assume, as he's on the pitch, it's going to be Chris Furich to take. Chris Furich stepping up, looking to see if he can put it in the back of the net, and he does, and it is 1-0. Excellent. 15th goal of the season. Considering he's been in and out of the team, 15 goals is a really good return for him. We do have to prepare for life without him. He's 31 years old. I don't think his natural fitness is the highest in the world. At some point, he's going to start dropping off a cliff. He hasn't started dropping off the cliff just yet. He is still relatively decent. His acceleration's gone down a little bit, but with natural fitness of 14... he'll have a bit of longevity into his 30s, but not very much. So I think we need to prepare for life without him. I think we certainly need to prepare for life with him being more of a bench player, which he practically has been this season, really. I mean, the first choices really have been Hlojek and Maria. Furich just got into the box here, though, just making me eat my words. Very, very, very unfortunate no one could get on the end of that. I tell you what, Joe Veloso, I keep saying he's going to be the attacking midfielder. If he's going to do things like that from defensive midfield, it makes me wonder. I don't think that's going to change anything, but what a goal this is. Furich just gets unlucky, no one get on the end of it here. Buedo runs up, gets the ball, gets it into Veloso, who hits it first time. That might be goal of the season. I like them when they've got a bit more height on. They look a bit more impressive, but that might be goal of the season. That was a sensational strike. It makes it 2-0 before half-time. I think we're not coasting here necessarily, but we are definitely dominating, and we've not been pushing ourselves too hard. We don't need to necessarily. This is the bottom of the league team. They're being in that position for a reason. I'm quite happy for us to coast a little bit as long as we turn it on when we need to, and we have there, and I'm very happy with the 2-0 lead so far. I'd like a third, though, because you know what I'm like with the 2-0 lead. I get a little bit twitchy, a little bit nervous. Right, Herculano, out wide to Buedo. Buedo, he has got Miranda overlapping, but goes back inside to Ozcan. Ozcan, kind of, it's interesting, with the defensive midfielder being not in the middle, we form almost a three-person defence. So Ribel, who's the left-sided defender, ends up coming into the middle, and the left-sided defensive midfielder ends up being the other one there. But now we're in an attacking phase. He's actually joined us in the midfield as well. Into Salvador. Salvador puts it just wide. Salvador missing his shooting boots a little bit at the moment, which is a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. My plan was to hopefully get him a goal and then take him off at half-time. I don't know whether it's beneficial for us just to take him off. I'm thinking that might be the case. Now, I would like to bring Hlojek on, but I'm actually going to not do that. Kjaergaard is going to come on. I'm actually going to put Kjaergaard on as a pressing forward, which is a position he can do. I think it's his next best position after a target forward. As a striker, it is indeed. So we'll bring him on for that. Give him a run out as that particular position. I mean, his finishing and dribbling are not the best, but he's just a nuisance at 6'4", relatively quick. He's strong. He's just annoying. I'm quite happy to have him on the pitch if he's going to be annoying. So we'll make that change. Well, just to give just to give Salvador a half off, because he has been playing so much football recently. So let's do that. And then anyone had a bad game, not particularly, we'll tell Ozcan to keep going, try and motivate him a little bit. Right, demand more from the boys. Let's go and get a third. I know we're playing with what effectively is our third choice striker at this point, because really Hlojek would be the next choice. But it is what it is. Right, Ribel goes out wide to Miranda. Miranda now looking for Danny Buedo, who's not had a terrible game and not had a great game either. Right, Navarro, what a pass into Kjaergaard, and Kjaergaard's got his first goal back at the club. I'm kind of a bit annoyed that I haven't got Kjaergaard on like a season and a half loan, because he'd be a good backup striker for next season, because we just know he's a reliable backup striker, and there he is. It's confirmed. He has got his first goal back with the club. He can just do that. He's got such good off-the-ball ability. that he's finishing, when he's in a position like this, he's finishing at 11. It's not great, but it's good enough that when you're in that position, you can at least get it between the sticks. It's just whether the keeper saves it. And on that particular occasion, the keeper did not. And it's good to see Navarro getting an assist as well. Some of the old guard coming back here and doing good jobs here. Really, really happy to see it. We've utterly dominated Santander in this particular game, which you probably would expect. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I love to see it. Right, so around that time, it's substitution o'clock. What shall we do? I am actually going to take Martinez off for Vandenberg, what I've been threatening to do. We'll bring Vandenberg on as a right back for a little bit. Veloso, I do want to take off. Again, we're lacking the options to do that, though. So, I mean, it won't hurt to have Litzkas come on for a few minutes, to be honest. So we will do that. And that's 3 changes. And then I'm thinking maybe we take off... I don't really want to bring Klajek on when he's not fully fit, so I think the next change will probably be Stoikers for Navarro. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll leave the final change for the next few minutes. We'll just give Stoikers a few minutes as the attacking midfielder, as the attacking midfield playmaker, and we'll just see what he can do and see whether we can get anything going. They've actually had a shot racing Santander. I don't really want that to be the start of anything. It looks like the match momentum has corrected itself there, which is lovely to see. And we're approaching final substitution. I mean, we'll just look at fitness and see who's the tiredest one. Not many, actually. We've really not run ourselves into the ground with this one, which is nice to see. Right, I think Valentin Gomez we could bring on, but I mean, I don't really see a point why, so I think it'll be on Yeka. And we'll take off Furic. Furic has had a good game. Fair play to him. But Weirdo hasn't. He had that little period where he was playing really, really well, and he's actually kind of decreased a little bit for these last few minutes. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and focus play down the left, and we'll just see if we can get the ball to him a little bit more for these last few minutes, and maybe see whether we can get anything from him. It's probably not going to work, but we'll try it anyway. But a nice, comfortable 3-0 win in the league against bottom of the table Santander. I think it's just what the doctor ordered after losing against Inter and also drawing against Girona. Those were not terrible results in the grand scheme of things, but I do think it was the right thing to get a good result here, and I'm very, very happy with that. It keeps our lead to 3 points above Real Madrid. It's literally become a 2-horse race. Barcelona have fallen off a cliff this season. Look at the gap there. Barcelona, okay, they've got a game in hand, so they're on net 56 points. They're still 9 points behind us, and they're still 6 points behind Real Madrid. We've actually overtaken them properly as one of the 2 top teams in this league, and their squad is going to still be better than ours. We're just managing it better. That's a sensational looking table. Right, very quick look at the match stat league stats. Goodness me, Stu. League stats as well. Salvador, they missed a couple of games in terms of goal scoring, but he is still the best goal scorer in the league with 22 goals, still the best player, along with Chris Furic as well, which is good to see. And Karnasecchi, with that game, has now gone to 15 clean sheets. What a signing he's turned out to be. They're the 2 signings that have made the difference. Salvador, Karnasecchi. Honestly, the pair of them are just absolutely fine. And we've gone back up to being the best team in terms of goal difference as well, which is lovely to see. Right, what a result that is. Now, Champions League. Has it been drawn? It has not been drawn, so we don't know when. Well, we don't know who our next team is. It's actually not going to be until after the Granada game. We're not going to stick around until then, but let's see whether we've been drawn and when the fixtures will be. We have actually been drawn when they'll be. Oh, my word. Look at that for a pair. So we've literally got first leg of Champions League. Wait, they're a day apart? They can't be a day apart. Surely not. They cannot be a day apart. That's got to be a fixture rearrangement there, surely. There's got to be a fixture rearrangement there. Oh, God. That could be a disaster. That could be an absolute disaster. I'm going to assume there's going to be a fixture rearrangement. It's going to be the Copa del Rey that will get moved. There has to be, surely, because that is atrocious if not. Look at the schedule if not. 21st, 25th, 27th, 28th, and then over here, 6th and 7th, and then the 11th, and then the 3rd is before. That's a horrendous run of games if we have to do that. Right, well, we'll come back for these 2 games anyway. We said we would anyway. We'll come back for the round of 16 second leg, along with the second leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final against Barcelona. We don't know whether it's home or away in the Champions League, but we've got the home game against Barcelona first. We need to make that count. Last time we played against Barcelona, of course, we did draw against them back in January. 1-1 draw. I don't think... Yeah, we did play against them in the league earlier in the season as well, and it was a 1-0 loss away from home. So let's see whether we can get things going. We have still got them to play later in the season in the league as well. Well, that's going to be a rough schedule, but we'll see what we can do. Fingers crossed we can get through it, at least in one of those trophies. If I had to pick one, I want to get through the Copa del Rey, because I think we've got more chance of winning that. It's the semi-final. Champions League, we're a little bit further behind, and I feel like the higher up we go, the better teams will be, the more chance we've got of getting battered, because I don't think we're there just yet. But we'll see what happens. I will take what I can get. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a big like on there for me, and don't forget to leave a subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so, and you'll put a big smile on this face right here. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.